At the car wash, the attendant said, "We found blood in your trunk. A lot of blood." What? That's impossible. He led me to my open trunk where 2 other workers were standing back. There was dark red blood pooled in the spare tire well and soaked into the carpet. My stomach dropped. "I don't know anything about this," I said. "I just used my trunk for groceries on Sunday." "We have to call the police. It's policy," the attendant said. My mind was racing trying to figure out how blood got there. Only my husband and son Flynn had keys. My husband was out of town, but Flynn borrowed the car 2 nights ago. I called Flynn, but it went straight to voicemail. He was at school. Then I remembered something. Flynn said he was studying at his friend Lenny's house, but he came home really late. I'd heard the door around 3 a.m. I pulled up our Ring doorbell app on my phone. There was Flynn at 3:07 a.m. walking in. He'd told me he got home at 10. The timestamp showed him lingering by the door for 5 minutes like he was thinking about something. I checked my texts. Flynn's girlfriend Maria had messaged yesterday asking, "Is Flynn okay after what happened? He won't talk to me." My hands were shaking as I pulled up the news app. There was an alert from 2 nights ago. Hit and run on Route 9. Pedestrian in critical condition. That was the route to Lenny's house. I thought about Flynn at breakfast yesterday. He wouldn't look at me. He kept rubbing his hands and barely ate anything. I thought he was stressed about finals. The police arrived and started taking photos of my trunk. They asked me questions, but I didn't mention Flynn yet. I kept saying I didn't know anything about it. Then Flynn showed up at the car wash. I realized he must have tracked my phone location. He saw the police cars and immediately turned to run. "Flynn, stop!" I screamed. He froze and turned around. His face was pale and tears were already running down his cheeks. "Mom, I'm so sorry," he said, collapsing on the ground. The police officers approached carefully. Flynn was sobbing so hard he could barely breathe. "I hit someone," he choked out. 2 nights ago. They came out of nowhere on the dark part of Route 9. "Why is there blood in the trunk?" an officer asked. "They flew up on the windshield, then rolled off. There was so much blood. I put them in the trunk to drive to the hospital, but I panicked." "You put an injured person in your trunk?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They were unconscious and bleeding everywhere. I was going to take them to the ER, but I got scared. I thought I'd go to jail. So I drove to the hospital and left them at the emergency entrance. "You just dumped them there?" the officer asked. I called 911 from a payphone and said there was an injured person at the hospital door. Then I drove home and cleaned the windshield, but I forgot about the trunk. "Who did you hit?" I asked. Flynn looked at me with red eyes. "Mrs. Boyer, Will's mom. She was walking her dog." I knew Mrs. Boyer. She made cookies for the soccer team Flynn used to play on. She had 3 kids. "Is she okay?" I whispered. "She's in a coma," the officer said. "Has been for 2 days. Severe head trauma. We've been looking for the car that hit her." They arrested Flynn right there in the car wash parking lot. He was 17, so they cuffed him and put him in the back of the squad car. He looked so young and scared. "Mom, I'm sorry," he kept saying through the window. The investigation showed Flynn had been speeding. Mrs. Boyer was walking on the shoulder when he hit her. If he'd stopped and called 911 immediately, she might not have such severe brain damage. But the 20 minutes she spent in the trunk and the rough dumping at the hospital made everything worse. Flynn got 3 years in juvenile detention for vehicular assault and leaving the scene of an accident. The Boyers sued us and won. We lost our house paying the settlement. My marriage fell apart from the stress. My husband blamed me for letting Flynn drive that night.